welcome to everybody. It's lovely to have you on the call. I'm Patricia Barnett and I am the Radiotherapy Network Manager for the West Midlands. And I'm joined today by a number of our practice educators who are therapeutic radiographers working in hospitals across the Midlands. In particular, I'd like to welcome Aisha, who is my co-host today. Aisha, do you want to just briefly say who you are?
Hi everybody, my name's Aisha. I'm a therapeutic radiographer at New Cross Hospital in Wolverhampton. My speciality is in pre-treatment, so that's the scanning and planning stage of the radiotherapy patient's pathway. And yes, I hope you find the session today to be really informative and inspiring, something that you can positively feed back to your students.
Thank you. And we will introduce other colleagues as the session goes on. So just to confirm, we are recording this. You will get the slide decks. If you have any questions, put up your hand or put something in the chat. But we do have a session at the very end where if you have any questions, we can hopefully try and answer those. But if there's anything burning whilst we're underway, just let us know and we'll hopefully be able to help you. So without further ado, we'll move on. So Lee, the next slide, please. So over the next hour, we are hoping to raise your awareness and your understanding of what it's like to be a therapeutic radiographer. We're hoping to cover some of the common myths and then introduce you to some of our amazing resources on our website. We're going to be talking to you about how people can get to know a little bit more about this role, particularly by doing some work experience. And as I said, we hope that if you have any questions, we can cover those throughout the session as well. Next slide, please. So we have a few of you on the call now, and I was just wondering whether you'd like to give us an idea of where you've come from. I've seen the registrations, but I'm conscious that you guys don't know who else is on the call. So very briefly, just a quick chance to identify the city or the town or the little village that you might be joining us from today. And Aisha and I will just comment and remark upon who we've got with us. I can see Lincoln coming up, and I know there were a lot of colleagues from Lincoln.
Derby.
I'm guessing St Benedict might be a school. I'm not quite sure where that is, or a college. We've got some Warwickshire colleagues. That's great. I'm in Warwickshire. I'm near Rugby, so lovely to have you with us. And we've got some colleagues joining from Solihull and Coventry as well. That's great. Okay, well, it's good to have you with us. Certainly the registrations showed quite a broad geographical coverage, but let's move on to our next slide. And this is important to us because we like to evaluate the impact of what we do. So we're asking you just as our audience today, just to give us a little bit of an idea about your starting point. How would you rate your knowledge and understanding of therapeutic radiography as a career? And it's fine to say it's poor, but we hope that over the course of the hour, you will increase your knowledge and understanding. So what would you say, Aisha? We've actually got a reasonable starting point, possibly.
Yeah, it looks like it. So some people know a little bit, so they put 3. A lot of people are not so sure. So yeah, hopefully you've got loads to learn today.
Right. Okay, well, let's kick off then. I think our next slide is where we begin the journey of raising your awareness. And I'm going to hand over to Ben and to Katie, who can hopefully briefly introduce themselves and then take us on our journey. So over to you guys.
Hello, hi, can everyone hear me? Yep. Okay, lovely. So I'm Ben. I'm therapeutic radiography practice educator at UH&M. So that's up at the Royal Stoke. And I'm going to talk to you today through our presentation about what a therapeutic radiographer is and the general overview, really. Katie is going to give you cover all the myth busting side of things, and will hopefully go into more depth on top of what I've done. Okay. So if I start now, and then I think Katie will come in a little while. All right, okay. So what is therapeutic radiography? Well, this presentation is going to give an overview. So how what it is we do, why we do it, what are the benefits of doing that career, as well as how to get into it. Okay, so could I have the next slide, please? So typically, when people talk about careers in hospital and healthcare, they talk about doctors and nurses. They may talk about some other allied health professionals like physiotherapists, paramedics, dietitians, but actually therapeutic radiographers also fall into that group of a patient-focused, patient-facing role as an allied health profession. So we've got a protected title, and we're one of that patient-facing roles that do that. We are lesser known than other professions. That's because we are smaller in number in general. There's about 3,500 of us, compared to maybe the 30 to 40,000 that you typically get for diagnostic radiographers or physiotherapists, and we're certainly not in the hundreds of thousands like nurses are. But we're a profession that is continuously trying to increase that number as demands placed upon us increase across the NHS. Next slide, please. So what do we do? Well, we treat cancer patients. And what is cancer? Well, the majority of the body is made up of cells all over the body, and typically over their lifespan they will function as they're supposed to, and then when it's time for them to die, they go through that cell death process of apoptosis, and then they are replaced by other cells as they multiply. But if that cell death process goes wrong, and then there is uncontrolled multiplication, which then leads to a cluster of abnormal cells growing, we call that a tumor. If that then has the ability to then spread around the body, then this is what we kind of define as a cancer. And that's what therapeutic radiographers in the UK typically treat. We're here almost solely focused on cancer patients. You can treat other diseases, and that is across America and Europe. They do, and we're looking to start doing that possibly in the UK, but we typically focus around cancer treatment. Okay, next slide, please. So how do we treat cancer? Well, the number one port of call is surgery. If you can remove the cancer, then that's brilliant. But the second port of call is actually radiotherapy. So we treat 50% of all cancer patients, and we use high energy radiation to do that. Other aspects that we also join up with, so we have a lot of links in with the chemotherapy teams as well. And then there are other ways of treating cancer, such as more targeted treatments like genetic therapy and immunotherapy. But radiotherapy is what therapeutic radiographers are focused around. It's the delivering of that high energy radiation to be able to destroy the cancer. Next slide, please. So we specialize in the planning, delivery, and aftercare of radiotherapy treatment for patients. So these patients come to us, and they come to us at a pre-treatment level. So they come to us for a planning CT scan. They'll be referred through to us, and then they'll see our pre-treatment team. These people, these radiographers, go through the pre-treatment process, talking to the patients through what to expect from the radiotherapy pathway, time scales, and then it's their job to put them into a reproducible position using immobilization equipment on a CT scanner. Okay, they can also make masks for patients as well if they were to be having a brain or head and neck cancer treatment. And we then CT scan the patients. The CT scan then goes through to our planning teams, who then decide where the radiotherapy is going to fall within the patient, and which volumes are going to be targeted, and then the organs around that which we want to try and avoid as much as possible. It then goes on to another group of therapeutic radiographers who are based in the clinical side, and they specialize in treating the patients and looking after them during that process. So they stay with the patients every day, Monday to Friday. Typically we treat with the weekends off. The patients can have one treatment, or they can have up to 37. So it's about 6.5 weeks worth of treatment. And it's our job to make sure that we've reproduced that position every day, and that we've been able to deliver the radiotherapy treatment to the correct position. Okay, so we do that using a linear accelerator, which you can see pictures of here, and we use ionizing radiation to do that. So typically it's in the form of photons or electrons, but you can also use other particles such as protons, which you may have heard about on the news, and also neutrons are being used in very special centers. So where do we work? Typically, we work in cancer centres or oncology centres within hospital trusts. Across the Midlands, we currently have 11 radiotherapy centres, and that's where we treat. Those centres can vary in size, so they may have 2 to 3 on the small, if they're on the smaller side, or they can have upwards of 10 linear accelerator machines. Next slide, please. So this is what a typical linear accelerator may look like to the patients when they walk in the room. So they'll lie on that black treatment couch there, and then we would treat them. We'd take them up underneath the machine, and the big bulky bit at the top is called the gantry head, and that's where the radiation will come out of. So that's where the photons or electrons will come out of, and the panels at either side that you can see are where we typically image the patient. So they allow us to verify, so we can perform CT scans and KV X-ray images from those panels to confirm that we're in the right position to be able to treat the patient. So as well as the delivering of the treatment, we also have to be able to take those X-rays and CT scans, be able to read them, understand what we're looking at, interpret the images we're seeing, and making sure we're in the right position. So the linear accelerator, can anybody hazard a guess as to how much a linear accelerator might cost? You can type it in the chat if you've got access. So typically, we'd be looking at about 1.5 million to 2 million, depending on the machine. And these are supposed to last us about 10 years, and then they're supposed to be replaced. Typically, we treat about 100 patients a week, if not more, on these machines. So you can imagine with departments that have upwards of 10 machines, we're having a large amount of patients that are coming through there and being treated every day. Okay, next slide, please. So why become a therapeutic radiographer? Well, there's lots of different benefits to the job, and people go into it for different reasons, but there's a real opportunity there to have a real positive difference. Make it if you can use your skills that you learn and what you have an aptitude for to be able to save people's lives, to increase the amount of time that they will have with their loved ones, that's a massive positive that you're bringing into the world. It's a big privilege and an honor to be able to do that, and that is expressed a lot of the time by the patients as well. So you do get a real positive feedback within your working life, and you can have that appreciation is really shown to you, and that can allow your work life to be a really positive place. Lots of people worry about when you say you're working in a cancer center, it can be a really negative place. Actually, it can be an incredibly positive place, where there's a lot of positive emotions as well. You also get to work with amazing technology. There's fantastic machines that you get to learn how to use, and that technology will continue to adapt as we go through our careers. So you get taught how to use that new technology as well. You also have good job security and availability within the NHS, and its rates are looking to only increase for therapeutic radiography jobs. And you can also make a real impact. So you're building connections with patients and their family members and helping them through these really vulnerable times. Next slide, please. So here's some of the existing staff members, and this is why they've got into the job that they have. So an opportunity to join a profession where I'd make a difference to lives on a daily basis in a constantly evolving field. I wanted a job that felt worthwhile. It has the appropriate balance of working face to face with patients and problem solving. Also, there are good opportunities to travel. The combination of working with people and technology and team working, it's a very rewarding job. I wanted to help people with cancer, and this role fit with that perfectly. So you look at those, and actually there's quite a breadth there. You've got about problem solving, working face to face, opportunities to travel, making a difference on a daily basis. I wanted something that was worthwhile, the technology and team working. So there's a breadth of reasons why people are coming to this profession as well. It's not just one thing that's drawing people in. It really lends itself to a large proportion of people that are interested in science and helping people and caring, whilst having a rewarding career. Next slide, please. So what's it like being a therapeutic radiographer? Well, as we've already covered, it's quite a rewarding career. But actually, when you qualify as an HCPC radiographer, qualified radiographer, you start at a band 5 level in the NHS, and this has very recently actually just gone up to £31,000. So it's actually a very good starting salary. And that can go upwards depending on career trajectory and how you apply yourself within your career, can actually go up to over £60,000. There's hands-on training at the beginning, so you get to work through your studies and apprenticeships. You get to work with very detailed machinery, but also this will continue as you go through your career. So there's the opportunity to work with AI and new machinery and technologies coming through that you'll be sent on training courses to be able to use as you go through. And no experience, okay, that's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're just finishing school or whether you're actually well into another career, but you don't know what you want to do, you want to change. Well, that's absolutely fine. There are opportunities for work experience and to be able to find a pathway for you into this career. So as a radiographer, typically as well, we have a really nice benefit of our working hours. This offers a really nice work-life balance. So within the NHS, lots of people have to do night shifts. They have to do lots of late working. We don't actually have to do that. Our typical hours are kind of 8:30 to 4:30, Monday to Friday. This can increase depending on the trust. So you see there 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. But that's really it. We don't really do any night shifts at all. And you've got an on-call service at the weekends, but that's only, again here, 5 to 12 weeks, depending on the type of the trust that you work in, essentially. But you're at the end of the phone. You only have to go in if you're called. Again, this offers a really nice opportunity for a good work-life balance, even whilst you're working within the NHS. And as a newly qualified radiographer, and as you go through, you'll get that opportunity to really delve into lots of different areas. So you can go into pre-treatment and dosimetry, you can go into skin cancers, you can look at then working with linear accelerator, different types of linear accelerator and different techniques for treating. And you have the opportunity to develop all those skills when you're new, and you can slowly choose to specialize as you want to when you go through. Next slide, please. So typical day, you may arrive about 8:15, about a quarter of an hour, 10-15 minutes before your shift starts, making sure if there's anything you need to, any administration you need to sort out, is there any emails that you need to reply to, any new patients that you need to organize for that day, have a little talk as a team, make sure you're all organized, you know exactly what you're going to do throughout the day, have all the safety checks been performed, do you need to do any before you start treatment at 8:30. You then bring in your patients. Typically, they're treated over 15-minute to 30-minute intervals, depending on the type of treatment you're trying to deliver. And then and you go through that process with them, talking to them, making sure that they're okay. Have they suffered any side effects? Has anything changed? Have they got any questions? In the day, you may find things that you may have to check or change, such as here a patient's anatomy may have altered and you may need to perform a rescan. So for that, you'd need to speak to a consultant, others in the multidisciplinary team within the CT scanners and the dosimetry teams, making sure you've arranged everything. Also talking to the patient, making sure they understand why you've got to rescan and what your clinical reasonings are. Okay, you need to keep them up to date with their treatment process and exactly how it's evolving. You may have new patients come in. If that's the case, then you go down to the waiting rooms, you collect them. You want to talk them through the process so they know exactly what their understanding of therapeutic radiography as a treatment is there. They're giving that informed consent. They know exactly what to expect from yourselves, from the treatment process, the support that's there for them, as well as any side effects that they may be occurring. Okay, and then at the end of the day, you also have to perform a handover. So, okay, we're still waiting for phone calls about this patient, we need to organize this for tomorrow. And going through, these are the patients left over, making sure that they can be treated in the most appropriate way. Okay, next slide, please. So this is just a quick overview of the roadmap. I know some of my colleagues will go over this a bit more, but essentially if you have interests in science and caring and treatment delivery, and you want to work within a healthcare setting, then we think you could be really vital and could be a perfect fit for us in therapeutic radiography. As covered earlier, it lends itself to a broad range of people with a broad range of interests. So it'd be fantastic if you could come in. We've got multiple pathways, undergraduate and postgraduate, as well as apprenticeship that you could use to become an HCPC qualified radiographer. Next slide, please. As I've mentioned earlier, we do have these multiple routes. So please share this with people who are interested, and they'll be able to see on our website as well around the different routes. But typically you've got your university, more dominated university ones, or your more dominated clinical placements, such as the apprenticeship. Next slide, please. Okay, so we're on to the Mythbuster session now, so I'll hand you over to Katie.
Thank you, Ben. Can everyone hear me okay? Fab. So just to introduce myself, I'm Katie. I'm the practice educator here at University Hospitals Coventry. So I'm just going to go over some Mythbusters now, common ones that are associated with us, and hopefully also summarise all the brilliant information that Ben's just told you as well. Okay. Okay, so myth number one, radiographers just take x-rays. If you could just click for me as well. Brilliant. So this is the biggest myth of all. So we get mistaken for diagnostic a lot. We have a lot of students apply for courses thinking they're doing diagnostic radiography. We are not diagnostic, we are therapeutic. A total different career choice, a total different degree. Although we both do take x-rays, we are much more patient focused. We treat cancer patients, we support them through a very difficult time in their lives. It's a beautiful career because we've got that technology aspect, which is 50%, but also that patient care and patient support as well. It's a really, really lovely career if you want to work with people and make a difference. If you haven't got compassion, if you haven't got passion for supporting others, it's not the job for you. But I feel like any job in the NHS is not for you. You shouldn't be applying for a role like that if you haven't got that compassion to make a difference to people's lives. So it's for them students who really love technology, love computer things, love to learn new developments, but also really want to support and communicate with patients and make a difference. Okay, next slide, please. So next myth is radiation must be dangerous for staff. You can just click for me. So yes, obviously radiation is very, very dangerous. However, there is a lot of safety considerations and protocols in place to make sure we do not get exposed by radiation. Radiation is amazing, but only if you need it. So you don't want to be involved with that unless having treatment. So we are always outside the room during treatment. We have lots of safety protocols such as lead shielding on the wall lining. We are not going to get exposed by radiation unless you hide in a cupboard in the room and refuse to come out. It's not going to happen. So it's one of the safest radiation careers out there. With diagnostic, they are sometimes in the room with their patients for treatment. That is because standard x-rays are 10 times less powerful than the ones we use. So they can have that availability to go in if needed, but we would never, ever go in the room for treatment. Okay, next slide. So radiographers don't have much patient contact. So as we've already mentioned, myself and Ben, yes, we do. So we see these patients every single day that they're on treatment for. We are their support system. Not only are we treating them and making sure that we are giving them the best possible care, but we're also supporting them throughout. And we could be reviewing them, sitting down with them, signposting them to counsellors, reviewers, dietitians. We are that person's port of call throughout the whole duration of their treatment. So going back to the compassion aspect, if you don't want to be there for patients, put them at ease and make a difference, it isn't the job for you. Okay. It's all about machines, not people. So again, I feel like I'm being very repetitive. However, I do feel like this is a really important thing, and we do get students come in to do this degree, and it's as if they are not aware of the compassion side, and it's really important going forward that we have students doing this course who do want to make a difference. So yes, we're all about the machines, all about technology, but we're also there for the people. So it's a dead-end job. This again is a really big myth. So as Ben said, when you qualify, you normally start as a band 5 and then you work your way up. If you want to be just a basic radiographer all your life, that's fine, you can do that. But there is so much opportunity to specialize and be promoted into different roles. All of us here today who are doing this call, we're all, I think, practice educators. So we all started as a newly qualified radiographer, and we've now all specialised in the teaching and training of staff and students in our departments. You could become a Macmillan specialist, you could become a research radiographer, you could become management, you could become a consultant radiographer. The possibilities are endless. And because radiotherapy is a career that's forever evolving and adapting, what I learned 10 years ago is not the same as today. There's always opportunity to specialise, advance, and go up the career ladder to become a really successful specialised radiographer. It's only for people who want to work in hospitals forever. So again, this is a really big myth. Although radiotherapy can only be given in hospitals and in certain hospitals because of how much it costs and the environment you need to be in for the safe delivery of it, you can actually take your degree to many places. So once qualified, you obviously could work in a hospital your whole life, but you could also go to universities to become a lecturer. You could go down the private hospital route. Believe it or not, there is also radiotherapy departments for animals. It depends how much you love your pets, but you can, if unfortunately, say your dog has cancer, because everyone does get cancer, you can actually organise for them to have radiotherapy treatment. So you could work anywhere with this degree. Also abroad as well, I might come on to this on another slide, but our degree is recognised all over the world. The only places where you have to do an additional year of education is America, but you can actually go anywhere in the world to work with this degree. It's a boring, repetitive job. I'm going to obviously say it's a myth, but I do believe it is a myth. As I said, because radiotherapy and cancer treatment is forever evolving, it never ever ends. What I qualified knowing about radiotherapy is not the same now. We have so much more advanced techniques, regimes, everything's constantly evolving, so you're always learning and always being educated and developing yourself. But on top of that, every patient is different. You meet people from all walks of life. You meet people with all different types of cancer. We treat everything head to toe here. So every day there's going to be a different patient through your doors, a different type of complex technique that's going to bring challenges in decision making. So no day is the same, and it keeps you on your toes for sure. And then last but not least, I believe, so you need perfect grades in science to do this job. This is a big myth. Whilst universities do want you to have some sort of science subject, it's also about being academically ready to do this degree, having communication skills, having compassion. It's about being a well-rounded person, not just perfect. Myself, I did A-levels to get onto this degree. I had biology, but then I also had health and social care and English language. It's not just about what grades you get at college. it's also about that you actually understand what radiotherapy is and you really want to get involved for the right reasons. So as long as you've got some sort of science background, may that be biology, physics, chemistry, even health and social care, as long as you're the right person for the job, there's no doubt that you'll get onto this course.
Great. Thank you very much indeed, Katie and Ben. That was superb. I'm just mindful of time, so I think we will move very swiftly on to hearing from Jo. Jo, I understand that you are an apprentice working in Derby, and we've just got a few quick questions for you to share with us, your sort of responses to them. So if we move to the next slide, we'll see these, and hopefully, Jo, you can be on camera and just quickly say hi. But we'd like to know from your point of view why you decided to pursue therapeutic radiography as a career. Hoping you're there and able to come off mute. Lindsay, can you help at all? Let's see. I think they're on the call, but obviously a slight problem.
And around.
Is that sorted?
Sorry about that.
That's
Mic wasn't
okay.
working on the other computer.
So, Jo,
Okay.
why have you chosen this as a career?
I came to have a look, really. I was at a point where I was looking. I worked in diagnostic radiography as an assistant practitioner, and they were wanting me to consider becoming fully qualified, but I wasn't 100% sure it was what I wanted to do. At the same time, there was an apprenticeship opportunity for this department, so I came and had a look, had a tour of the department, had a look round, got an understanding of what they did here, and felt that this was where I wanted to be. So went away, filled out my application straight away, put it in, and here I am.
Fantastic. So we've actually had some questions in the chat as well, and I will draw that to the attention of the other practice educators in case anyone can help answer the questions. But we've had a question about the apprenticeship route and are they available at all trusts and things. From your point of view, Jo, what's the benefits of an apprenticeship route?
Hands-on experience. I think we get significantly more experience in the department than the students do who've taken an undergraduate route. So we kind of get those skills a lot quicker. The whole experience is very different. We become part of the team that we're working with, and you almost forget sometimes that you are an apprentice, that you're learning because you're so involved in everything that's happening. So I think that's a very big benefit. It certainly helps you to understand what radiotherapy is. It helps with your studies, so you can put into practice what you're doing. Everything that you learn at uni sort of reinforces what you're doing here in the department. Whereas I think with the undergraduate course, although for some people it works really well, I think for me, having that much time away from the department would not have benefited me at all. I like to be here, I like to be doing the work. Obviously, there's the fact that I get paid to be here as well. I couldn't have afforded to sort of step out of work and go back to university. So for me personally, this has been a really good benefit for me. It's meant that I can progress my career, that I can take advantage of the apprenticeship, and do something that I'm really loving.
Fantastic, thank you. And briefly, what advice would you give to anyone who is considering therapeutic radiography as a career?
Try and have a look in the department, find out where your local department is, and try to arrange to have a look round. That way you'll get a really good idea, a really good feeling as to whether it's something that you really want to get involved with. It'll also help you understand exactly what we do, and how many different aspects to the job there are, and how you can progress, and what advantages there are to working in therapeutic radiography. So yeah, definitely come and visit.
And if you like it, definitely go for it, whether it's undergraduate route, apprenticeship route, whichever, definitely. I mean, it's the best move I've made. I wish I could go back 20, 30 years and tell my younger self that this is where I should be.
Great. Thank you so much indeed for sharing your thoughts. So we're going to move on. We're a little mindful of time, but this is where we've got a chance for you, our audience, to say what help or support you might need. So if we move to the next slide, there'll be another Slido. Just a reminder, you can get this by using the QR code or by typing in slido.com. And we'd like to know, do you have any support needs from the team of practice educators that are on this call today? What do you need so that you, as careers advisors, can help your students? We'll just give you a minute or so just to see. I know we've not got too many people on the call, but hopefully a few of you are brave enough to say what you might need. We've given you a bit of an overview, but are there resources you want? Are there specific questions? Are you wanting to know about X or Y? Would you like to actually have a conversation with one of our practice educators and discuss in a little bit more detail what they could do? Because they do get out and about. They do go into schools. So what could that look like? I can see we've got one person typing at least. If there's anybody that wants to put something in the chat or just come off mute, that would be great.
So we've just had a question in, actually, a really interesting one. The job market varies really on what the trust is offering, financial issues, but generally most students end up with a Band 5 job, whether it's their closest or chosen centre. That does vary. But I wouldn't say it's difficult to get a job if you're willing to look broadly.
Thanks. That's really helpful, Aisha. So we've got one question, and I'm actually going to put something in the chat box, which is part of the answer. So we've got about connecting students with taster days. So our website, our Therapeutic Radiographer website, has on its homepage the details of any open days that are imminent. But we also have a contact us facility, most websites do, and with that there's a possibility of a student actually registering their details and saying they would like to have an opportunity for a taster day or for some work experience, and to say which geography they are interested in, and then we do a little bit of matchmaking behind the scenes, and we link up the student and the practice educator from the nearest hospital to them for them to make an arrangement. I believe work experience is a little bit more easy to organise. There's still a lot of considerations, particularly the students need to be at least 16, I believe, but that's obviously more agile and more responsive than a grand open day of the whole department. That's my attempt at the answer. Aisha, would you have any other advice or ways of responding to that question?
I think one thing I would say is just to bear in mind, we have had students who are 16 asking for actual work experience. So it's the 5 days or the 10 days that they want. Anybody under 18, it's difficult to get that hands-on experience because of their age and experience. So just something to bear in mind. So your standard year 10 or year 11 work experience is not suitable for that as such. But definitely taster days coming in, we're always open to that. And as Patricia said, sign up with the website, matchmake you to our department, and then we tend to get students in quite quickly. So yeah, for a half-day taster session or a day. And some.
Oh, sorry, after you.
No, I was going to say, just everyone got some sample interview questions for potential students. Again, that's some information we could possibly put on the website, or you can also, like booking in a taster day, get into contact with the department, and we're always ready to help or, you know, offer some advice in that respect as well.
That's great. I think at this point we will pass on to Mercia, because Mercia is actually going to say what support we can offer you as careers advisors, what our offer is. So without further ado, Mercia, over to you to introduce yourself and take us on the next bit of our webinar.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, next slide, please. So I want to talk to you guys about what our offer is, and really it's all about how we're working together so that we can raise awareness of our wonderful profession, as Katie and Ben have so greatly explained, be able to deepen understanding of what that role is a little bit more, and have a look at maybe targeting that experience just a little bit more so the students can get much more hands-on and really be able to know whether this is the profession for them. So what can we as practice educators offer you? So we can come out and do assemblies. As Patricia said earlier, we are often out and about at local schools and colleges. We can talk to large groups in your assemblies. We can do more interactive workshops. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. We've got lots of information on our website and our social media pages, which really does lend itself to students in those year groups. I think social media is really the way forward, isn't it? Keep desperately trying to get us to do a TikTok, but nobody wants to do that with me. Careers fairs is a big thing. I think most of us spend a lot of our time out at careers fairs, and this is really important because lots of students really don't know that we exist as a profession in our own right until we get to these careers fairs and we're able to talk to them. And often students who are sort of deliberating a career in nursing particularly are the ones that really don't know that we are there, and you know, those are the students that we like to talk to be able to give them that opportunity to really, I guess, explore therapeutic radiography a bit further. Small group discussions is my personal favourite. I like getting out there and talking to much smaller groups because we're really able to reach students in that way and be able to kind of really get a grip on what they already know. I think sometimes cancer, the word cancer can guess it can really kind of trigger one or two reactions, really, whether that's a personal experience, and that can make people a little bit more reserved, but it can also make people, you know, maybe start thinking about oncology in a different way and really start to kind of, I guess, I don't know, pique their interest a little bit more. Lots of us do open days for students, for careers leads. This is a really great way of getting to know therapeutic radiography and what the department looks like. So if you've got an open day in your local area, I'd really advise you guys as careers leads and other colleagues to get out into the local hospitals and see, because that way you'll be able to really be able to promote therapeutic radiography a bit more, be able to understand the environment that we're working in. And like we were talking about before, lots of us offer work experience opportunities, whether they are days or weeks or taster days, or, you know, in whatever way that work experience may be offered. That's definitely something that we all offer in some way. Next slide, please. Just keep clicking. Thank you. So this slide really does illustrate all the different types of sort of activities that we do, from careers fairs to the like games, looking at anatomy, looking at the different parts of kit that we use, VR headsets. We've got something called a which is a virtual simulation, basically a simulator that really shows what our machines look like, which is in the bottom corner there. And that's a really great way of being able to engage students in what radiotherapy is and how it actually works through the body. We've got a few bits of games and stuff like that as well on those slides, and the students really like that. Next slide, please. Keep clicking. There's lots of pictures on this one. So this really does just really highlight that on the resources on our website they're quite extensive. So there's lots of different bits of information, really great videos on there from our current students. Some great videos by me and Ben, even though I do say so myself, that really does highlight how we got into our career and how some of our undergraduate students and apprentices are getting into their career. And as Patricia said, the QR code there is really easy for them to access, and yourselves as careers lead, if you want to get in touch with your local department to discuss what we can offer you a little bit more personally. Please do reach out to us, because we are very happy to come and spread the therapeutic radiography word out to your students as much as possible. Thanks, Patricia.
That's great. Thank you so much for that whistle-stop tour. So we have another opportunity now for more questions. Hopefully we've answered some of those that have been coming through in real time. But Aisha, shall we just have a quick look on the chat as well? People might be adding to Slido. I think we've had questions about where to look for actual vacancies. And we had a suggestion there. I think that NHS Jobs is a website, and Radiotherapy UK also advertise vacancies. I don't know if any of the practice educators on the call want to come off mute and provide an additional answer or any additional signposting, but NHS Jobs or Radiotherapy UK are the two recommended websites to look at live vacancies. We have also had questions, how do we request this work experience? Looks like if you're in Lincolnshire, you've got a VIP opportunity because there's a dedicated team called the Talent Academy. But if you're not in Lincolnshire, you're still in the Midlands and you'd like to request work experience, or your students would like to, please do contact us through the Contact Us page on our website. As we mentioned earlier on, basically that sends an automatic request to myself and my colleague Lee, and we do a little bit of matchmaking with the relevant hospital and the relevant practice educator so that an arrangement can be made directly. Again, if there's any other possible answers that my practice educator colleagues would like to offer, please jump in on that. And let's see if there's any other questions that are coming through. If anyone wants to just come off mute, please do so. Have we got Beth on the call to help with this query about Lincoln? I know we've got Ryan, haven't we? Ryan, are you able to help at all?
Sorry, I'm just in a shared office. I am here.
Hello.
Bear with
Can
me.
you help with this query that's appeared on the screen?
Yeah, me. So in terms of going into schools to talk about therapeutic radiography, that is something that we do, and we've done it a few times recently. So yeah, if you want us to come and teach a class basically, then that's fine. That's absolutely something that we can do.
Okay, so Beth, can I suggest you put your email address, and Ryan's
Yeah,
actually in the chat, so whoever asked that can literally take advantage of it. And I'm going to pass to one of our colleagues. Nicola, you did have your hand up. Nicola Altoft, would you like to ask a question, or have you had second thoughts?
I wasn't going to ask a question. My name's Nicola. I'm the senior lead in the Talent Academy in Lincolnshire.
Forgive me.
So all I was going to say, I didn't know Beth was on the call, and then she's jumped in. So it's lovely. Hi, Beth. All I would say is, if you've got requests for people to come in, if Beth is happy for them to come straight to her, but normally we would say, please send them through the Talent Academy. We have hundreds of ambassadors, Beth being one of the absolute most engaged of those that support us going into schools or attending careers events, that sort of thing, as well as, offering the traditional work experience opportunities as well. So, if you've got any queries, feel free also to come to the Lincolnshire Talent Academy. You can apply for work experience placements directly on our website as well. So yeah, please get in touch with us if there's anything we can do to support.
Super, thank you so much. Lindsay, I think this might be your opportunity to introduce yourself, because somebody else has asked, how do we find out about coming into schools near Derby? So over to you, Lindsay.
Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Fab. I've been having technical issues, so do apologise. So myself, I'm the practice educator at Derby. And I also work with Stefan, who works alongside me as training and development here at Derby Radiotherapy Department. And between us, we kind of can come into the school. So we kind of cover the full, because we've got a massive area to cover in terms of the trust. So we go from Lichfield in Staffordshire all the way up to to parts of Derbyshire. So between us, we tend to cover between us. So if you are a school that's in Derby, around the Burton-on-Trent area, we can cover that. So if you just get in touch with myself, we can arrange that for you.
Thank you so much.
How long does it usually take for you to come to our schools once requested? I think it just completely depends on staff availability. So the more notice you can give us, the better. If you've got an open day coming up, if you give us months notice, we could even organise months in advance. So just let us know, basically.
That's great, thank you. So I think the flurry of questions has possibly slowed down. So let's just move on. We're doing okay timing wise. So next slide. So at the beginning of our session today, we asked you to rate your knowledge, your starting point, if you like, and your awareness. We would love it now if you could just let us know how that's changed. We're hoping it's shifted towards the right on the graph, but just your chance now to rate your knowledge and understanding, having listened to the talks and the slides and had your questions answered. Oh, excellent. Whoever
Brilliant.
that person is, I'm delighted that you now have an excellent knowledge. Hopefully a few others might be responding. We've got somebody saying a 3 or so. So that's great. I know we haven't had too many people on the call, and hopefully those numbers will keep on arriving. But definitely seeing the graph shift to the right, which is exactly what we were looking for. Lee, let's just move on to the next slide. Oh, I can see another 4. That's great. Thanks, Amanda. So we only have a couple more minutes, and this is where we now ask you, or give you, if you like, some homework. We would like you as careers advisors to help us. We want to work in partnership with you. We're keen to be inspiring the next generation of therapeutic radiographers. So your call to action, your homework, your to-do list is please do take a look at our website. We've been putting the link in the chat, and hopefully that can be repeated very shortly. But we also have postings on social media. We have a LinkedIn presence, we have a Facebook presence, and we have an Instagram presence. So hopefully that will appeal to your good selves. It might appeal to parents of prospective applicants, and it might also appeal to the young people, the students themselves. So do take an opportunity. Maybe somebody might like to we'll put in the chat the links as well. Take the opportunity to follow us, to like us, to repost, because the greater sort of exposure that we get, the better, really. Secondly, do take a moment to think how you can incorporate what we've sort of given you a taste of into your careers programs. I know many of you plan a year ahead or a term ahead. You have a regular program, but do think about how we could provide a little bit more variety into your program, especially given some of the things that Mercy was talking about that we can come and do. And as we said earlier on, please do contact us. You've got a few individual people who've named themselves with their email addresses, but you can always use the contact us facility on our website. Fire off your question and we will make sure that you get an answer and you're connected to the right person. So let's just move to the penultimate, the end slide, in fact. I think probably unless anybody wants to come off mute and ask any questions or make any statements or anything, I think it's going to be for us to say thank you. Thank you for joining us today. An enormous thank you to the people that have spoken, who've taken the time to prepare the presentations and to share their experiences. So thank you, team. And just a final reminder about our website. So I think without further ado, we'll draw to a close. The website will have the presentations. It will make sure all the answers that you've asked today, including the last one from Tracy, are covered. and that you all have the opportunity to access the slide decks and all the other resources. So a big thank you to everybody, and wish you well as you progress with the rest of your day. Thank you very much indeed. Take care. Bye bye.